Hi grade 11s, this is week 9 lesson 9.1 and we're looking at the 2-point perspective. Here we have a quick overview of the example that we want to achieve in the end of the day. Make sure that you see that we are having one singular point touching the picture plane. Then we have a roof on top of the building. We have a door, we have a window, and then very important, there's a small little step at the entrance of the door. Provided to us is the top view and the front and side view. You have to populate the answer in the drawing space by drawing in the 2-point perspective drawing. What we will be giving you on your worksheet is the top, front and side view as we already discussed, and you will also see there is the height line, and that's on both sides. We did not draw it all the way through because obviously we're going to populate that with our answer, but you can draw in there a light construction line so that you know that that is where your horizontal line will go. And we also have our picture plane on the top touching the top view's corner, and then we have our ground line at the bottom. So, and remember, from the ground line is where you will draw your perspective towards the vanishing point on the horizontal line, and you will have two vanishing points. That is the left vanishing point and the right vanishing point. So please take note of those few things. Then you will also see that there is on the inside the thickness of the wall on the top view. So when you are drawing your windows and your door and the openings for the window and door, you will see that you have that thickness provided to you, and you just need to project that thickness. You will also see it here on the side view, or in this case this will be the front view. There they show you the wall thickness as well. So but they also do that on the side view, there and there, and you can then just use that in your answer to determine the depth for the or the inside corner of your wall when you are doing the door and the window. As I have said before, when we do 2-point perspective, I like to divide it into two parts. The first part is where we actually do the construction for the left and right vanishing points, and the second part is where you actually draw in the answer of your drawing going into perspective. So here we are dealing with the first part. So what we want to do is look at your main building in the top view. So you know this is your top view that is going to be here at the top. Obviously this is your front and that's your side or left view. So what you want to do is you want to look at this line here, this line that is 30 degrees, and for that you go to your standpoint, and at your standpoint you should know by now you're going to take your 30-degree set square because you follow this angle of 30 degrees slanted to the left. So from the standpoint or standing point, you're going to draw your light construction line all the way to the picture plane. It must first go to the picture plane, and then from the picture plane straight down now to the horizontal line, and that will be your left vanishing point. And then what we will be looking for on going to the right will then obviously be your right vanishing point that you need to determine. So for that we are going to take our 60-degree set square. So you just flip your 30-degree set square so that you see the 60-degree angle, which is representing this edge of the wall and that edge of the wall, as well as over here. Those are all 60 degrees. You will see this little tip of the roof here will also be 60 degrees, but we'll get to that part later. Just remember we're working now with 60 degrees from the standpoint go straight up all the way to the picture plane, must hit the picture plane, and then vertically go straight down to the horizontal line, and that will give us the position for our right vanishing point. You must indicate the dots, and you must indicate, very important, the labels for left and right vanishing points. These are crucial in our drawing and in our construction. We give you marks for this so that you know that these are the constructions that needs to be done in preparation to do the answer for your perspective drawing. Now that we have determined the left and right vanishing points for our house, we know how far it's going to disappear to the right and how far it's going to disappear to the left if we know where our depth is, and this is what we're going to use our SP for, as you will see just now. But let's start at the beginning. The first thing that we mentioned is that we try and work with most of these drawings from the bottom up and from the outside in. Leave the detail for last. You can't always work from the bottom up and always from the outside inward, but in most cases that is possible, and that is the best solution. So for this drawing, what we're going to do now is we're going to first look at where the house's corner touches the picture plane. From there, we're going to project the line straight down, which is our anchor line, as I referred to it. That's my anchor line. And where the anchor line hits the ground line, that point is from where I will now start the perspective of my house. Because this is the corner where my house touches the picture plane, and whatever touches the picture plane will also touch the ground line. So, because that's our first level of our perspective or our depth. So, that's why that point there is crucial, and I refer to that as the point of reference from where we will do our perspective. So, what we need to do now is we're going to take that intersection where the ground line and the anchor line meets, and we're going to draw a light perspective line all the way to the left vanishing point, till exactly to the left vanishing point, and then also from that corner all the way to the right vanishing point on our horizontal line. That will give us the lowest point of our perspective in the left and right vanishing point. So that's the lowest part of our wall of the house. So we know that everything from there just goes upward. So please keep that in mind. And then to know about how far does the wall go to the right and how far does it go in depth towards the right, we need to remember that now from our anchor house's corner where it touches the picture plane, it's going to go, the picture plane is the closest to us, and the further we go back on the top view, the further we will see is the depth. And if we look here at our front on our answer, we will see that from the starting corner that we also go backwards, the same as we did with our top view. So the top view tells us how far in depth do we need to go backwards for that perception of depth that we want to create. And therefore the next step would be to go to our top view, the top right hand corner, and we will see that corner at the far back. That is what we're going to project now to the standpoint. So remember, we said you may stop at the picture plane, but if you were to actually go and extend that line, you would have seen it would have gone all the way to the standpoint. But because there are so many lines, you don't have to draw in that line. You can leave that out, but you must show the part where you come from the back of the house and hit the picture plane. And then it breaks off at a 90-degree angle, and you will project that straight down 90 degrees to the bottom line that goes to the far right, which was our right vanishing point's baseline. And then we will do the same thing now with the corner that we see here on the top view, because we want to get this front of our house. How far does it go to the left now? So we had the one that went to the right, but now we want to know how far is this one going to go to the left. And for that, we're now going to take that inside corner on the top view, project it all the way now to where? To the standpoint. So if we were to draw the line continuously, we would have just drawn it in there. But as I said, let's just draw it up to the picture plane, because we don't want to clutter our page more than what's necessary. Once it hits the picture plane, we break it off again at a 90-degree angle and project 90 degrees straight down. Once we've done that, we know how far to the left did this front part of the house go, and that is the part that we have now determined. But now we need to just indicate that on our answer. So at the bottom, at the base of our house, we're going to go to the bottom, this part, there we go. That would be obviously what we would have seen here at the back here. That is what we see here. And then here in the front, from the corner where the house touches the picture plane, that part there is what we will be seeing then over here. So this is very important to get that baseline to the right and the left first. And once we have that, we can now go and determine the height of how high. So we know the lowest point. Now we just need to know the highest point. And for that, all that we're going to do is we use our front and side view. In this case, the easiest would just be to go to our front view and look at the bottom of the roof. So the bottom of the roof's height, we will just now project at 0 degrees all the way to the anchor line. So where that height hits the anchor line, we're going to take that now and project that now to the right vanishing point, and we're going to project it also to the left vanishing point. So that will give us the height of the wall. That's now the part below the roof, the top of that wall's height to the right hand side and to the left hand side. So now remember the rule that we said that if something or a line is perpendicular on your front view, if that line is perpendicular on your front view, those same lines will stay perpendicular in your answer. So perpendicular lines in your help views will stay perpendicular in your answer. So therefore, if we want to look now, let's clear all of these lines over here just to make it clear. So if we want to now get the top of this wall's height, we know that this corner here is the one right at our facing us, the closest point to us, because it's touching the picture plane. So we know now what the height of it will be, so we can draw solid that line in there. And that will obviously be on the front view, this line that we see here, and this is the top corner, which is the one that we just projected. And then for the back on the far right, we know already how far it's going to go, so we can go and draw this line up to the height that we've projected, and then we can just close it off with solid lines as well. And once that is done, we can just go and look at the front view. So the front view is now this part over here, and we want to draw that wall's height now. In our answer, we already know that where the height came from our front view and hit the anchor line, we just now have to draw all the way to where that green line, remember the green line shows us how far in depth does this front wall go on our top view, and then on to our answer, and that line we can then just draw solid all the way to there, and we know that the corner of the house will break off there, the inside corner, which is this corner over here that we just followed all the way down to there. And that gives us the layout of the house up to that stage in our perspective answer. You just clear all of this clutter so that looks a bit better. And there we have the outline of our house up to this stage. We now are going to do the other part of the house that is going to protrude from the part that we already drew. So what we want to do is make sure how far does this part of the house then move forward or protrude towards us. And there's a specific way that we're going to go about this. So let's show what we do. Now we already have determined the point where the inside corner of the house at the bottom and the top would be. So those 2 points are key to our answer of what we want to do here. So what you do is I refer to this as a reverse method, and in the reverse method what we do is we take our ruler, we place it now at the right vanishing point, and then we draw a light construction line that comes from the right vanishing point, and we work backwards through that point we already created. And that is the reverse method. So we know that if we were to look at this answer that's already here, that this part of the base of the house, of this extruded part, is going to come from this inside corner. So if you understand the logic behind that, it makes sense that if you were to keep that corner in the same height and just project it from the right vanishing point, you would find that from that corner of the house up to that corner would be then the same height. Okay, because it's the lowest part of the house. So the next thing that we want to do is to say to ourselves, but okay, how far does that part of the corner then reach? So in other words, how far do I have to go from here to there? How do I get that distance? Okay, and that's easy to get because now that we have gotten this light construction line going to the right vanishing point, we just go and look for that same corner now on the top view, because we remember that our top view shows us the depth of perspective. So therefore from that corner that is on the front of our top view, so I'm referring to this corner over here at the top view. So from there we're going to go and project a light construction line all the way to the standpoint. But remember, we use that angle, but we stop our projection here at the picture plane. Where it hits the picture plane, it breaks off at an angle of 90 degrees going straight down, 90 degrees straight down. And that will give us the exact corner of how far from the inside corner to there we have the depth for that protruded part. And once we have that, we go now to the top corner of the inside of the wall, and we again use our ruler from the right vanishing point. Let me just clear all this clutter. And now what we do is we're going to take our ruler from the right vanishing point and draw a light construction line that's going to go now through that top corner over here. Okay, and where that goes, we know that somewhere on that height line we will have then the corner over here. So how do we get that height? Well, we actually already did the work to get it. So if you look at the construction that you did from the top view going straight down, that construction line will already be there. So all that you do is where this one that came from the right vanishing point in reverse, you just see that intersection. When you find that, you know that from the inside top corner to there is then that top of the wall, and that will give us then also the edge of the wall here on this corner, and we already had that one. So that takes care of this part here on the top view. That would be this part that we see here on our perspective. So with that done, we now just need to get the part that is here on the far left, which is this part where the door is going to go. So to get that part, we already know the bottom corner and the top corner on our answer. So all that we do, let's clear this constructions. So what we need to do now is from that bottom corner, we're going to draw a light construction line all the way to the vanishing point, and then from the top corner a light construction line to the left vanishing point. Now we know at what is the lowest and highest level we will find that front part of the house where the door is over there. So now how do we know how deep it goes? So in that example, we're going to go to the top left corner, at the far left corner of our house in the top view, and we're going to again project that now towards the SP where it hits the picture plane. We're going to break it off, and we're going to go perpendicularly 90 degrees straight down all the way to our answer. And now already we have created the depth. So now we know that at the bottom and at the top, those are the two corners that shows us how deep does that part of the house goes, and we can draw in solid then the bottom and the top of that wall, as well as the far left corner or edge of the house over there. And that takes care then of that part of the layout for our house. Please note that I am not drawing any of the detail in yet. Okay, everything that we've done so far, you could have just drawn in as light construction lines, or just a little bit darker than the construction lines, so that you can see the profile of the house. Because don't forget, we still need to add a door here, so there's still a door going to come in on that side, but we will discuss that a lot later, because we want to first work from the outside in and get the layout and the shape of the house.